Okay, let's get started. Welcome to the Astrotheology course. Let me get my camera right. Sorry about that, y'all. I thought I had it the way I wanted it. It's rainy season, and in Vietnam, and well, in rainy season, you get caught in the rain. Let me put it like that. Okay? There's really nothing you can do to prepare. You know, because when it rains in Southeast Asia, it rains, okay? But Vietnam rainy season is easy compared to, let's say, Philippine rainy season. Philippine rainy season, you can lose your life during their rainy season. Like that. It goes from being nice outside, rain, to a huge flood. In Manila, on the street called Escheat, which is one of their biggest streets. So it's supposed to be, or you would expect, that it's well developed, but it cannot handle the water, and they're always, at least when I was there, always improving it. But anyway, so in that respect, I have it good because at least in Vietnam, when it rains, it just rains. Okay. But on the other hand, in Manila at least, when it rains, it's going to rain 10 or 15 minutes. Bam! I mean, flood, you name it, rivers overflowing, and the people who live at the edge of the river, I'm talking about like, well, they're not homeless because they built like little shacks and shanty towns on the edge of the river. They get flooded out, but it's only a 10-15 minute rain generally, and then after about 15 to 30 minutes, the rain is all dried up. But in Vietnam, the rains last longer. Okay, maybe hour, maybe 2 hours, but it's not a violent rain. But anyway, you get rained on. And sometimes the rain will come at you this way, so your clothes get wet. But anyway, Shalom and Islam to all the Moors. I say that every time I do a video. Shalom is a Ibaryath word. If you want to know the meaning of it, get the Dr. Yasapa Ibaryath, Aramaic, and English lexicon. Or watch the videos that I've done. Keep watching, and you'll learn the meaning of it, okay? So you have two ways to do it. But it is not a simple hello, all right? It is not a simple hello. And Islam means I, self, law, am mastered. All right? Law is land jurisdiction, air jurisdiction, and water jurisdiction. Or just land, air, and water. Okay? So anyway, let's begin. We are on, we left off on one of my favorite topics. This one you can have the most fun with, all right? You can have the most fun with this one. When you look at the histological function of a vesicle, and then you consider that these theologians chose to use a vesicle to represent the inner house. Okay, so if y'all go Google search or go check a histology book or pathology book and look up vesicle, and you'll see the many functions of a vesicle. It's protective. It contains messages for various cells, the DNA apparatus, etc., to perform certain functions, or to stop, or to reduce, or to increase. And for me, that's very interesting that they should choose that, but also very interesting is how they trick you with these images. There's seemingly no relationship, right? Seemingly no relationship. Okay? Until you do like this and you remove the other parts. Okay, and then you get the Vesica Pisces. All right? Y'all should remember this. So that's enough for the review. Let's continue. I would like to, I'm not going to be able to finish this chapter today, but I want to finish this chapter. Okay? So we're on page 42. This is the free astrotheology course. The free astrotheology course. So like it and share it. Y'all know that YouTube will not put any of my work in their rotation. Okay, I'm shadow banned on YouTube. All right, so y'all do what you can. Don't just come in here and listen and learn and then walk away like you didn't get something. Okay, don't do that. Here we go, 42, page 42. Each age, that's astrological age, for you who are new, each astrological age bears the characteristics of the equinoctial constellation and also of its opposite. So that's the principle of polarity, right? We discussed that in the last video, so y'all go watch that. Now here, this is a truthful statement. Each zodiacal age bears the characteristics of the equinoctial, that's the constellation that at 5:30 to 5:45 in the morning, a.m., 5:30 to 5:45 a.m., look toward the east. This is why people pray toward the east. The sun is rising over the zone of Horus. The sun is rising over the horizon. Look to the east, just above the horizon, and whichever constellation, whichever zodiac sign you see there, that tells you which zodiacal age you are in, or which age you are in, okay? Now, this is the physical phenomena that Christianity, specifically the Catholic Church, well, let me take it back even further than that. Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8, the black priesthood, the black as in Saturn, the black as in Saturn, the priest of Saturn, remixed and created a doctrine that they call the last days, all right, and by extension, end time prophecy. Is that clear? All right, so let's continue. Now I said this is a truthful statement because it says that each age bears the characteristics of the equinoctial constellation and also its opposite. Okay, in order to know hot, you must know cold. Okay, so it's the same line, but the polar extremes. The degree of hot and the degree of cold simply is where you're at, right? On the line, so polarity, okay? So how does that work out? So there's a wheel, 12 zodiac signs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and one, the first one will be the age that you're in. And remember the precession of the equinox, okay, so it goes backwards. So the next zodiacal age will be the one that's placed at 12. 12 becomes 1, all right, becomes a first. But anyway, that's another story in itself. The point I want to make here, I want to draw your attention to in the previous, on a couple pages ago, the author talked about zodiacal signs having a spiritual component. And I told you scholars that I disagree with that. Where is it? It'll come to me. If I don't do it on this page, it'll come to me the next presentation I do. Okay, here it is, on page 40. It says each age, talking about the same topic, zodiacal age or an age, all right? Or this concept that has been translated the last days or the end of the world, okay? Each age, erroneously translated, each age representing a new phase in the spiritual history of the human race. That's what I took issue with. It has absolutely nothing to do with the spiritual history. Why? Because it's future, for one, and then what do you mean by spiritual? Right? And the winners write the history. If y'all understand what I'm saying to you. Right? So the age of Aquarius has no history yet, right? It has no history. And then who's going to write the history? If we're in the present situation that we're in now, under the present management or administration, it's going to be those who have power, all right? And that doesn't mean that it's a true history. That just means that's the worldview they want you to have. So I took issue with that, okay? I hope you all see how I'm thinking. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. So the age of Aries shows the influence of Libra. All right, so the age of Aries shows the influence of Libra. The balance, the sign of relationships and covenants. Balance, relationships, and covenants. So don't you need to have, shouldn't you maintain good relationships if you want to be able to contract with each other and have no problem, have even no worry? Balance, justice. Don't you need balance? Whatever form it might take in whatever situation that it might take. Y'all see? So what you would do, so balance, relationships, and covenants or contracts, these are characteristics. So what you would do in this situation, here's Aries and here's Libra. What Hermetic principle is at play? Polarity. So what are the characteristics of Aries? That's going to be dominant or predominant, right? And then what are the characteristics of Libra? All right? That should be simple enough. So the age of Aries shows the influence of Libra, which is balance, relationships, and covenants. All right? Virgo, opposite Pisces in the sky. So Pisces and Virgo. What Hermetic principle? Polarity. How are you going to analyze this? You're going to look at the characteristics of Pisces, which will be the dominant, and you'll see, and then you'll look at the characteristics of Virgo, and you'll see that Virgo characteristics have an influence. Clear? All right. Virgo, opposite Pisces in the sky. How is it opposite? Remember, there's a wheel. So 1, 2, 3, imagine a clock. So what's opposite 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock? What's opposite 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock? Y'all get it? This is what he's talking about. Virgo opposite Pisces in the sky is the sign of modesty and service, in addition to physical virginity. Well, we know that's not correct, right? Everybody should know that that is not correct. Why? Because virginity, when you go back in ancient times, virginity had nothing to do with the woman who had never had sex. So this is why I have frequently said we need to correct the Zodiac. Do our best to correct it, okay? Take it back to what our ancient foremothers and foremothers and fathers had, in accordance with Exodus chapter 20:12, and the natural law to honor your mothers and fathers. That is a natural law, right? All right. So we need to correct this, as with everything, as with all of the major documents. We need to correct them because they have been reworked. They have been reworked to facilitate power in the hands of the hybrids. They spared no expense. They were very tedious. All right? Covered everything. All right, so all these are prominent themes within the Christian story and are characteristic of the Virgin Mary. She and the Piscean JC, the Christ figure, stand as twin poles of the Virgo-Pisces axis. Y'all see that? Opposite ends of the same line, just like the Christ and the devil, okay? Opposite ends of the same line. That's all. Nothing complicated about this, okay? The coming age is that of Aquarius, the water bearer, which many hope will be a time of brotherhood and peace, when human Han-Uman values predominate, and when collective responsibility for the environment and for the underprivileged will be evidenced. So y'all know that, let's say the Magna Carta, y'all know when there was serfdoms and fiefdoms or fiefdoms, whatever you pronounce it, over in Europe, they were bound to the land in servitude. The lord of the land had first rights to have sex with the woman you want to take as your consort or wife. He had first dibs on her. They couldn't eat meat. They had it really bad over there in Europe. Well, the Magna Carta, that document, gave them rights. All right? Gave them rights. In my mind, I was not there. I was not there, and I don't trust what historians write. I don't trust it. I'm very skeptical, suspicious. So let's consider this. The Han-Uman, the hybrid troglodyte Paleolithic caveman, is over in Europe, South America, India, probably all over the world. But according to our history, they were kicked out of South America. Y'all do some research on the monkey god and the monkey army in South America. They found a site. And what they're saying, this was several years ago, what they're saying is that this was, there was an army of half man, half monkey, Han Uman. This is consistent with the Moorish history. Y'all go read the Zodiac Constitution. Okay? What is my point? You look at some of the art, you will see half man, half beast of every sort over in Europe. So it puts you in the mindset of that movie Dr. Monroe or Dr. Monroe, Dr. Moore, Island with Marlon Brando. Did y'all ever see that? And he was a geneticist, probably amongst other things. And he had created these hybrid man mixed with all kind of animals. Okay? All kinds of animals mixed. And he planted a device in their chest, an electronic device, so that if they ever wanted to attack or not follow his instructions, he would push a button. And it would cause them so much pain that it would stop them in their tracks. Well, one day they found out, they cremated a body, right? And then the electronic device survived the flame. Did y'all see that movie? And then they all started to take the device out. This is how they broke out. That was the end of Dr. Monroe. They killed him. Okay? But he had all of these strange animals that he made, I believe it was from his own DNA. All right? It was reminiscent of Genesis chapter 1. This is the Han Uman. So, was it these half man, half beasts, the Han Umans, that were the serfs? Right? Were they the serfs? Or their descendants who were further developed? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Maybe there were some more primitive stock, and then some who had been genetically engineered to be more like man that we see today. But yet and still they were kept on the farm, treated like farm animals. And then when they came to power, because they had no birthright, but they had some degree of intelligence, but they had no birthright, and so they gave themselves human rights. Y'all see it? Whereas the autochthonous Moors, Genesis chapter 2, sprung from the soil, you ascend from the womb with birthrights. There's nothing to give you. You have everything. At birth, you're in the covenant of grace. At birth, you have everything. They, on the other hand, had nothing. So they had to give it. Okay? They had to write it. Okay? And this is what we see. You talk about human rights in the United Nations. So that's why y'all will never get human rights. You'll never get it. Why? Because if you're an autochthonous Moor, you're not a Han Uman. You're supposed to be governed by natural law. Right? You're supposed to be following natural law. Why? Because that's what you are. your nature. One. Okay? Whereas they're not. They're not sprung from the soil, not supposed to be here. Let me repeat that. There was no intention of that. Okay? No intention. So anyway, so hence we have all of this, we have the Magna Carta, and all of the other documents that sought to establish rights, human rights, for them. Okay? And then all of the documents that were built off of, or that preceded that foundational document. And then in North America, to our demise, manifest destiny. Manifest destiny. Y'all got it? Manifest destiny has its origin in the doctrine of discovery. So all of these concepts have their foundation in Judeo-Christian tradition. Y'all got it? In the Judeo-Christian traditions. This is religion, not the nation, not the bloodline people. It is the religious doctrine. Clear? If you're in the house, you would have been taught. You would have been taught, educated about the legalese and the double and triple meanings in the statutes, state statutes, etc. You would have been taught about the banking system so that you could use it to your advantage. Why? Because you're being saved. Y'all see it? Life very easy for you. It's not just for the religious people. Remember the Knights Templars, the courts, the banking system. When you're in the inner house and you know the secrets, and all of the maritime, Admiralty maritime law that goes right back, that is Christianity. If you know the double and triple meaning, right? Meaning that when you become an initiate, for example, you think that the gospel stories are true. As you move up, you learn the next level of understanding of those verses and those parables. When you move up again in rank inside the house, in the vesica, in the vessel, you learn another level of understanding about those parables, about the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. See, they're living in the kingdom of the heavens on earth now. Why? Because they're inside the house, they're inside the vessel, right? Christ said that this information was only for his 12 apostles and those who were with them. On the outside, you get nothing. It's not for you. You are not to understand, because if you understand, you might repent and be saved. So they're saved in here. The world is their oyster. Y'all get what's happening? Do y'all see it? And the way they have the system set up is that they must have you suffer. They must have you in a constant state of chaos and crisis, so one, that you'll need them, right? If you're in peace and you have everything you want, what do you need them for? Okay? And two, to make it easier to control you so that they can live off of you. So that they can keep you focused. So you have a reason to go beg an external deity. You have a reason to be saved. Y'all see it? This is the mind game that they've played with you. Anyway, let's continue, all right? Let's make it do what it do. The coming age is that of Aquarius, the water bearer, which many hope will be a time of brotherhood and peace when human values predominate. Human values, okay? I just talked about that with the Magna Carta and all of these things. And y'all have to remember that even though the hybrid is all over the world, but the hybrid has no rights, there is, however, culture. And values differ based upon what culture you're in. All right? Okay, so let's continue. Will be a time of brotherhood and peace when human values predominate. That, let me say, that will never happen. Because the hybrids have a desire to kill, as clearly seen, and to what? To dominate and be territorial. So there will never be peace. It goes against their nature. This is all sweet talk. But my point is this. This time of brotherhood and peace, when you read through Aquarius, that's going to come at great expense, great turmoil, great pressure, pain, and DEATH all around you. Great suffering that will force you to be honorable just so you can survive. To force you to practice group economics, to force you to help somebody because you know in the next second you might need help. Okay, so it is that pressure that those in power will put on you, and perhaps even weather and climate, right? Because it's the water bearer. So when it rains, it pours. The rain can come vertical, it can come diagonally, it can come horizontal, it can come up from the bottom. It can come as sleet and snow. Who knows what the weather events will be? It may involve tsunamis and earthquakes. Who knows how the pressure will be applied? But it will be applied. And it will be so great that it will force peoples to come together based upon their nation. All right? Let's continue. Y'all go read it yourself. How much time do I have? Hold on. All right, I'm still good. Okay? Okay, so when human values predominate, y'all know that's BS. And when collective responsibility for the environment, y'all also know that that's BS because you can see from their history that they have no concern for any bodies or anything's life other than their own. Okay? They don't care about the environment. You can see that. And for underprivileged, and for the underprivileged will be evident. That's a bunch of sweet talk too. Okay? The only way these things are possible is if the hybrid goes out of existence. Because it is against its nature or their nature. Okay? The opposite constellation is Leo. So here is Aquarius, and here is Leo. What Hermetic or natural law, principle, or concept is at work, same as always. Polarity here, polarity. All right, so let's continue. The opposite constellation of Aquarius is Leo, symbolic of individuality. Okay, so Aquarius, groups coming together to form a group for survival. Leo is individuality. Y'all see the opposite, okay? All right, so Leo, symbolic of individuality, and the coming of age will be characterized by growing tension between individuals and group values. Well, where's a good example of individuals? You look in the quote-unquote African-American community, the blacks. That's the best example of extreme individualism that I could think of. You have to look at a parasite to see another good example where people have absolutely, the majority of people have no regard for anybody else, not even at this time for their blood relation. No regard. And they will justify everything, get the bag. If it's getting the bag, you can do something to harm, injure, destroy your own blood, your own mother. And they justify it, or to get YouTube views, social media views. Staunch individuality. That is toxic, extremely toxic. But this is the extreme. On a corporate level, you would have to say the United States corporation is the most extreme example of individualism. Toxic capitalism, right? Where you destroy any and everybody to get power and influence. And fiat, all right? Clear? Okay, between the individual and group values. What are group values? Here, group values, you're moving toward communism. Okay? Moving toward communism, socialism. Or fascism, where the oligarchy makes decisions for the masses. Clear? The oligarchy, small group of corporate, the extremely wealthy, the elites, and they make decisions in the corporation and in the nation state without regard to the masses of people. So, actually, I think the fascism would be. I need to think about that. I'm not sure if I would put that on the individual because it's just a small group of elites. But anyway, it doesn't matter for this video. I'll come back to it. Astrologers say that becoming a genuine self, SELF, within the context of the collective will be the primary spiritual task of the next 2,000 years. I don't buy that at all. I don't buy it at all. One of the benefits that I have of having been in Southeast Asia for so long, here in Vietnam, I wasn't in India long, in the Philippines, and having been around so many people from so many different countries in Southeast Asia, is that this idea of group, especially, I think it's most extreme in India. They will disgrace you, lie on you, throw their own throw their own daughter out of the house because they're concerned about what their neighbors are going to say. I'm not kidding you. They're overly obsessed with what other people are going to say about them. It's extreme in India. And then having come to that conclusion, I realized why so many people from India irritated me. Not in India, outside of India, because I didn't know that that was their mindset. And y'all know that when we go, wherever we go, if you're an orthogonist more, wherever we go, the hybrid has disgraced us. And people tend to believe it because they have wealth and because of their media, right? Because of their media machine, people believe this crazy stuff. And when you don't fit that stereotypical image, some people don't know how to deal with you, or they will approach you, like you're a meme, some fool. All you can do is sing and dance, or they expect. I remember I was in this one hospital, and these doctors approached me, asking me to sing and dance. Ignorant. And you know what my attitude was toward them, and they were offended. But I understand that that's what the media gave them, and they thought it was okay, right? But the whole group think, y'all, that is very real in Asia, in Philippines, in Vietnam, but not so much. Not so much. Not so much at all. Not at all. If y'all come to Vietnam, y'all would really love it here. I guarantee you. People come to Vietnam and they don't want to leave. The people are friendly. Problems that you would run into, like in Thailand, Philippines, those are the popular destinations for Westerners. The problems you would run into dealing with groups of people and their culture, you won't find that here in Vietnam. The only thing that might be difficult for you is most of the people don't speak English, but there are those who do speak English, but they may not let you know that they speak English. Not that they're trying to hide it, it's just a matter of confidence. But in Philippines, almost everybody speaks English. Almost everybody speaks English, but a lot of them will hide it. All right, they have a totally different mindset, criminal-minded. I shouldn't say that, but I'm only speaking from my experience. Islam to all the Moors. If y'all want to support my work, my PayPal is paypal.me/Zion Law School. Do not send anything to my Cash App. That account is closed. I have to figure out something else. Okay? Make sure y'all order my books. If you all are learning from my work, if you can afford to, and you feel it in your heart, buy my books. Learn Ancient Ibaryath. Okay? Learn Ancient Ibaryath. Come to my live class. Check it out. If it's for you, enroll. The tuition is very affordable, very reasonable, affordable. In fact, I'm giving you geometrically more than what you actually give in tuition, okay? Also subscribe to my online class, 101 Ancient Ibaryath. Get yourself free your mind, and your ASS will follow. Shalom.